Oh, hey, fellow artists, it's Roz and Laura here. Today, we are chatting about the topic of mid-year art biz resets. So we can help you to realign yourself with your artist goals and set yourself up for an amazing 6 months ahead. Whether you're feeling a little blah about your art practice or you've completely derailed, this one is for you.
Welcome to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Roz Gervais and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
we're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in.
Hey Roz, how you going?
I'm well, thank you. What's happening in your world?
Oh, and I don't know, just something like really small, like retreat planning, but you know.
Oh my gosh, that's really exciting because so you've just announced that the early bird, is it the early, do you call it early bird?
Yeah, it's the early bird ticket pricing. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah,
For your retreat.
exciting.
That's Vietnam, right?
Yes, we're going to Vietnam again because it's so amazing. And yeah, we've already filled up, oh, well, of this recording, we've already filled up 4 private rooms. So yeah, just go to the website if you're interested in that. But enough
Oh,
about me. What about you, Roz? What have you been up to?
well, other than sitting here wanting to book the retreat myself, I'm sitting here pondering. But other than that, just a lot. So I just finished running the Fuel Your Creativity Art Challenge over in my free group, the Permission to Paint free group in Facebook. And it was a lot of energy. So it was really loved. It was a great experience from what I hear from other people, but it was a lot of energy. So I'm taking this week actually just to go slow, try to go for walks, catch up with friends, recoup
Yeah,
my energy. So yeah, that's what's
beautiful.
going on for me.
Yeah, I think after like anything big, any major event, it's always nice just to go back to the basics and take things a little bit slower and tend to your self-care. So that's nice. Yeah, just going for walks and socializing and all those nice things.
And
So
actually, you know what?
amazing.
Coincidentally, a really good segue is I have been reflecting and thinking about my next 6 months. What's that? What is that going to look like? And that's what we're talking about today. Oh my gosh, coincidence as such.
Yay! So, in this episode, we're going to be covering your vision for your art business, your creative life, and all of that jazz, some strategy and practical planning. And so, this episode's probably a really good one if you want to sit down with a notebook and write things down. And yeah, it should give you some like time to refocus for the second half of the year. And really, it's for anyone that's creatively blocked or feel like they've lost their way. Who else would you think this episode's for, Roz?
Yeah, creatively blocked, lost their way, or just needing a little bit of a breather. Maybe they've been going, I'm talking to myself, aren't I? Going really hard, going hard, doing all the things, and they're just feeling that need just to sit back for a little bit and to reflect on what's next. What do I actually want next? What's coming up? Hmm.
I don't know about you, but yeah, I have been having some conversations in the background with other artists that are just like a little bit lost and like just they've lost their spark or their work just doesn't feel like it reflects them in a certain way or yeah, they're just not sure what they're doing at the moment. So maybe, yeah, it'll be a good episode for people that are just wanting to refocus and just sort of reaffirm the goals that you might have set for yourself earlier in the year and just bringing yourself back to, those milestones that you were hoping to achieve. So,
Yeah, and also, permission to review those too, right? Because things do change sometimes. You start the year one way and then you're like, oh, actually, that particular goal, not a thing anymore. I'm just going to replace it with something else. And that's fine to have to do that as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. So shall we start with the visioning part?
Oh,
So, some tips around carving out that vision.
I would like to go back a step. Being really
Yeah.
annoying, aren't I, Laura? But to start with that reflection on what you've already achieved in the 6 months. So to really look at what you've already ticked off and the wins that you've had, no matter how small, and then to celebrate those and give yourself a pat on the back. Because I think a lot of creatives, I know I do this all the time, will skip that step and will actually not recognize those wins and just focus on the things that they haven't achieved. So it's more, I don't know, that negative lens. So I think we should invite everyone first to flip that and to look at what they have achieved over the last 6 months and celebrate that and recognize those wins as well.
Because when you've got big goals and milestones that you're working towards and then it's over, it's just like, oh, okay, yep, and next.
What's next?
And next.
What's next? And then, the other one as well related to that is when you do that reflection on the last 6 months and you can see what went well and what was working for you, that can then fuel and inform the next step, which is that visioning, because you can actually choose to lean in on to the things that are working for you. Like things don't have to be hard. If there's something that you started your year out with that's going amazingly, maybe this next 6 months is the time for you to really lean into that, turn that up a notch, and push that a little bit harder, maybe.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, always good. And so I like to do like practical things and fun things to celebrate those successes. So we've talked about this on the podcast before, like going for a pedicure or manicure, or like taking yourself out on a nice cafe date, or inviting one of your artist friends to go to an art gallery just for a fun, like arty day. So yeah, celebrating is anything, but it's just, about like mentally like recognizing what you've achieved and, even just the person that you have become for achieving that specific goal or outcome. So yeah, amazing.
Remember, I like to get a celebration salad. I took you for a celebration salad.
You did take me for a celebration salad, and it was a delicious salad, I must say.
That's why it's in the celebration category.
It was special, yeah. And it's healthy too, rather than a celebration cupcake. But if you like a cupcake, that's fair.
Gluten-free, then we're good.
Oh, yes. All right. So we're celebrating ourselves. We're looking at what's working. We're doing more of that. Then we're also, panning out to that vision now. So like, what is that next level identity that you want to step into, like, and getting specific on that. So this could be like a potential journaling exercise here. So closing your eyes and picturing like that next level artist that you're going to be. What artwork are you creating? What does visually, like, and style wise, what does that look like for you? Is it the same as what you're doing now, or is it different? What are you excited about creating? Like, is there something that, you really want to create that is a little bit different stylistically for you? Think about who your customers are, who's supporting your art. And then, if you're inclined, like maybe create a vision board or get some inspiration ideas, post it up on the wall of your studio. And then, just thinking about the personal attributes of what that next level artist is for you. And would you have any other visioning advice for that?
I really like how you talked about that. So it is really just, visioning exactly, like imagining what that looks like, and that through those multiple sort of lenses. So I was just writing down as you were talking. So it's like, who are you going to be in the next 6 months? What's your lifestyle look like as well? Your creative lifestyle. What does your art look like? Who are your buyers and all that? So really imagining that and getting clear on that. I really like that. For me, I would be writing down all the things that I would want to achieve in the 6 months, because usually mine go on for multiple pages, just like forever. But they can't all be achieved right in that amount of time. But that would be my next step. So once you know who you're going to be in this next 6 months, the lifestyle and all of that jazz, writing down specifics around all the things that you want to achieve. letting all of those ideas flow onto paper, every single one of them, don't judge them yet. And then we can move on to the next step that we're going to talk about today after this.
Yeah, yeah. Something else that come up for me is like, who are you impacting with your art too? Because I like that when I work with my clients, it's just like, you are impacting people with your art, whether it's showing up online and being brave and sharing that, you're stepping into like being an artist, whether it's through workshops or coaching or things like that, offering any creative events and all of that, you're giving people exposure to something. And yeah, I think that, you stepping into your authentic path is going to impact more people than you even realize by doing that and following the pull in your heart to be creative. And you're creating more beauty in the world by doing that too, because there's a lot of doom and gloom out there as well. So I think that it's important to recognize that our work as artists to bring beauty into the world is important, and that impact is also important. So including that in your vision as well, because it's a greater purpose. Like, I think thinking about the grander scheme of things of your practice. It's not about just you solo in your studio making art for fun. It actually impacts more people than you think.
Yeah, I love that. I think, that can be quite game changing as well once that really sort of clicks in your head, when you start to see your art not just as a commodity, but actually as a service. You're offering people a service through your art, brightening their spaces, their everyday, their lifestyles as well, and bringing more joy and all of that jazz. 100%. That's really huge. Yeah, I love that you shared that.
So we're talking about strategy next.
We are.
So mapping out your next 6 months and the milestones.
Technically, Laura, we are talking about the Art Biz strategy that you didn't know you needed. That's the mid-year one, everybody. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, so strategy, and I've noted down, 1 to 3 aligned business actions. What do you think? 1 to 3? We could do more. Do you think we need more than 1 to 3?
I think, mapping out your goals and then figuring out your action steps. Like, that's just the general way to work through the process. So yeah, I guess we start with like, what are you working towards? So what are the milestones that you're working towards? Like, is it an application for a grant that you want to apply for, or artist residency? Are you going to an art fair, planning for an exhibition, thinking about Christmas sales? Like, we're in that 6 months, like we're edging towards Christmas. So like, are you creating products, or are you going to be doing markets, applications for markets? Or do you want to like take things easy and sort of like ease in to the end of the year, and maybe your goal is around just making new artist connections and
having facials.
Building it, yeah. Going to the beach and lounging at a beach club.
I like this plan. Hey, as you're talking, are these for you? Because I know, different coaches see things different ways. Are these things that you're listing, are they actions or are they goals?
They're the big milestones. So
they're for me, then goals. Okay. So
yeah.
So like overarching goals. So you go from your vision to, and then you call the next step milestones, which I would call them goals. And then you have actions. Okay. All right. Just checking we're on the same page. That's fine.
Whatever level you're aiming for, you might be, wanting to like really kick things into gear and, develop new workshops, new body of work. Or you might just be in the foundational stage, and you might be looking at building out your website or improving your artist resume or things like that. Looking at, the back end of your finances. It is the middle of the year, so we should be like doing all the accounting and bookkeeping and filing for taxes and all of that sort of stuff in Australia.
That, Laura, outsource.
Yeah, of course. So like if you don't have like a tax accountant or bookkeeper or things like that, or if you do it yourself, you know, looking at that this time of year. So yeah, there might be goals around getting help in that area as well. Like that's another thing that I always ask is do you have to do it all yourself? And do you need specific support? Like, is there an area that is outside of your scope, in terms of like social media marketing or your website or the finance thing? Um, yeah, like we can't do everything. So just thinking about areas that you can enlist some help, and then that could be your action list. Like that could be part of your action list. You know, you're wanting to get your website done. Like, who can I enlist support from to help me with that? Or yeah, and
Okay,
then
so
sorry, when we're setting goals as well, another thing to think about is your personal capacity as well. So, like thinking about how many hours you can dedicate to that specific task, and yeah, thinking about like your energy and you know, in terms of how much time you can commit to working towards that.
I love that.
Mm.
So I was just thinking clarity wise. So we've gone reflection, we've gone vision setting, then goals, and then we're into actions. How many goals do you usually recommend that people have at a time? Or we're talking about 6 months. So how many goals would you recommend people have for a 6 month period?
It depends on your energy. So I guess it's like back to that your personal capacity, what I was
Mm.
just talking about before. So you really need to know yourself really well,
Mm.
and you need to know like how much stamina you have to fulfill them.
I've got an
So
idea to share on that
yeah,
because I'm an overcommit is the wrong word. Sorry, that sounded really bad. I'm a ambitious person. So I
yeah.
set myself goals and then not too often, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, I didn't achieve that. And then I'm cranky with myself. Maybe an option with the goal setting is for the goals actually to break them down as well into good, better, and best. So you have the three versions of the goals so that if
Mhm,
you don't reach the best one, you can still give yourself a pat on the back for the good and the
mhm.
better options.
Because if you're choosing to like work towards an art fair, that's huge. So, like, I would have that as my main goal, and then that would be me for 6 months.
Mm,
So I've got my retreat, and then that's me.
that's you done.
You know, yeah, you have those big like reaching goals, and then there are some little ones. So, you know, you could look at maybe just rejigging your website, or you know, maybe developing like a new workshop model or like something in the background, but like maybe just prioritizing, like, you know, so you got your big one, and then maybe like a couple of supporting ones
The
around
other
that.
thing I've noticed is as you go along in art business, there ends up being different sorts of things. Like there's like your business as usual stuff, you know, like the holding pattern
Hmm.
stuff. And then there's the goals. I feel like they sit sort of separate, almost they're different parts of
Hmm.
the way we do business.
Yeah. And it'll evolve, you know, depending on the level of your business. So, like,
Mm,
you know, like we could be, I know that a lot of the people that we speak to on this podcast are still in that foundation level. So
mm.
they're still getting the mechanics of like what's going on and figuring out that every day. So, like the email marketing, the social media, the workshop offerings. Sometimes, like, you know, people like haven't even like priced their products and things like that. So, and it's totally okay to be in that stage. Like, you know, but then it does evolve over time, like as it's more established and you've got like a refined model, and you know, yeah, there are different things that you're working towards at specific parts of the journey.
At Pacific parts, is that what you mean?
Specific
Pacific? Does
parts.
anyone else have trouble saying that? I know someone in my world does. So it's a little tongue in cheek joke in my world.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So
do you have some tips for practical planning? So we've looked at what has worked over the past 6 months. We've
mhm,
celebrated what we achieved. We're looking at the overall vision
mhm.
for the artist that you want to be. We've set our milestones and goals. We've set our actions in regards to that. And then, so what advice would you have for practically implementing that into your life and, making that a successful next 6 months?
My first one is related to, I feel like most creatives, which is this need to have something right in front of your schnoz, otherwise it doesn't exist. It's an ADHD thing as well. So out of sight, out of mind. So my top recommendation here would be to have your list of goals at the very least, plus actions ideally, up in front of you somewhere in a space where you actually see it. So pinned up, blue tacked up, or whatever it is, so that you see that all the time. However, hot tip on the hot tip is to change that as well, because if it starts to become part of the layout of your space, you're actually going to start to ignore it. You won't even see it. So you need to move it or change the color of the paper or something like that so you still notice it. So that's my tip number one, with the extra tip on the tip. And then tip number two is to diarize things as well. So get organized in terms of your action tasks. So whatever system works for you. So if you have a planner or a diary or a Google Calendar or you use something like Trello or Asana, whatever it is, get the actions in there. And then the last one is to tell people as well. So tell someone special to you who might help to keep you accountable. Sometimes social pressure works magically.
Yeah.
Works magic.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah.
not from England, is it?
Yeah, works magic. I'd say that.
Works magic. Yeah, no.
That's
sure
great.
More tips,
They're brilliant tips. Definitely. They're so practical. And I guess, you figure out what helps you plan, the more that you're working in your business. So, yeah, we love Trello. We love Google Docs for planning the podcast and writing things down. Some other things that I do is I use my calendar and I set alarms as well. So I sort of remind myself of certain things. I'm a big fan of post-it notes, but they do get a bit messy and all over the place.
We're on YouTube, you can see my post-it notes. But these are not to-do things. Some people think they're to-do, like my to-do list.
Oh my God. Imagine if that was your to-do list.
That would be a bit crazy, wouldn't it? Anyway. Yeah, post-it notes.
No, they're all your lovely people in your membership.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice reminder.
Yeah. I'm going to make an inappropriate joke about that. I won't.
And so just having some sort of record keeping and just like writing it down. And so figuring out how you're going to organize all of your goals and plans. And of course, having an accountability buddy. So whether you go out for a walk with a creative friend or just a friend who's interested in supporting you and just talking about your goals all the time, or whether you need, like if it's a bigger project, like whether you need like specific support or coaching in that specific area, if you're like growing into like the next level of your creative business and you need support to achieve much bigger goals, that can be really helpful too.
I've got some extra tips, and I'm going to bring out my notepad. I know we can't go talking on forever, Laura, sorry, but had to share this. Okay, this is an ADHD thing, okay, to help you to actually do the things that you want to do. Apparently the acronym you need to remember is NICE. So N is novelty. So things like, I think about Asana, because when you finish something in Asana, you press the do button, a unicorn flies across the screen. I got a unicorn. So novelty. Second one is interesting. So that's fine for us because we all love art. Art is our interest. So that's all fine. Challenging. So make sure your goals and your actions are actually a little bit difficult. If they're boring, you needed the sweet spot. It needs to be a bit challenging, but not too easy. Otherwise that's boring. And then the last one is emergency. This is a fun one, which is to do with doing things last minute and needing that true, actual urgency. So if there's a way to build that into what you're doing, that helps too.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Yeah, they're really good tips. And so setting a deadline for yourself too. So yeah,
Yeah.
if we're
Or
thinking
get your
about,
person
yeah,
to set one, like the person that
yeah,
you told,
your
get
friend.
them to
Yeah, yeah.
set it. It actually
Yes.
makes a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. So having that timeline can be really motivating and helpful. So if you're setting a workshop, you've got the workshop date. So you have to be ready for that. But then like there could be open-ended things like, oh, I want to get better at managing my finances, or I want to get better at social media, or I need to update my website. That is like sort of a broad,
That's tricky. And so that's when you can
yeah.
do things like build in, as you mentioned before, like rewards for yourself afterwards, and make it, if you can, like make it huge or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be financial, but make it really big so that it's really juicy and that becomes your urgency to do that task.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
otherwise, if you can't get that one going, go for the novelty factor. I find that's a good one.
I love the unicorn. I've never used
It's
Asana
a
before.
rainbow unicorn. It's
Yeah,
great.
I want to start using it just for that.
See, there you go. And that's on the free plan, everybody, on
Mm,
Asana. I'm not
mm.
affiliated, but you don't have to pay for it to get unicorns, just so you know.
Uh, yeah, and then just to sort of close off this whole podcast and everything, just maybe if you are inclined to pull out a journal, just sit down and just think about like what does success look like for you over the next 6 months, and then we're just sort of thinking about everything, like your whole lifestyle. So what does it mean creatively for you? What does it mean financially? It's helpful if you have like an income goal related to that as well, like in terms of what you're working towards. And then, emotionally and everything. So is there anything else that you feel like we
Yeah,
need
maybe in there
to
include
add?
so an income goal, and it's also good to have some sort of an audience goal. So it might
Hmm.
be followers.
Yeah.
I don't like chasing followers personally, but it could be followers, or it
Mhm.
could be email subscribers, or
Mhm.
something audience
Yeah. Numbers of
related.
people on seats in your workshop or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, numbers. Um,
Yeah, great.
oh, I was going to say, lovely listeners, if you do sit down and take this time and do some journaling around what you are going to experience, the plan, the vision for this next 6 months, please share on socials and tag us. So you can tag us individually, or you can use hashtag paint rest repeat. I think that's what it is. Or is it hashtag paint rest
Mhm.
repeat podcast? Or use both.
Well, use both.
Thorough is always a good way to be, because that would be amazing, would help us to get out to more creatives, but also it would help us to celebrate you, see what you're up to, see our listeners, see what you look like. You know what we
Yeah.
look like. We want to know what you look like.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, it'd help the podcast to spread the word.
Thank you, lovelies. Now,
Mm.
so you've got something awesome coming up, which is your retreat. We sort of talked about it early on. So maybe this is in people's, plan for the next 6 months. Maybe they realize, oh, they need some time with other creative women. They need to, have some well-being time as well.
Yeah, so if you would like to join us, definitely check out the retreat link. And yeah, so if you just want to be surrounded by other creative women just like you, people who have creative businesses, hang out for a week, rest, relax, and be inspired by the beautiful, colorful landscape of Hoi An and reinvigorate your creative practice, then definitely come along. I'd love to have you there. And yeah, it's going to be amazing.
And you can
Yeah.
stay in the sweetest little resort, sweetest little villa in Vietnam, and meet the receptionist whose name is An from Hoi An. Like, who does not want to go and meet An? She's really lovely. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
highly, yeah.
yeah. That's my favorite thing. It
She's,
just feels like home. They're
I thought
just
An was your
gorgeous.
favorite thing. Like, I think that's the major draw card. You need a photograph of her. Put her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, it's a really good time. So, and what about you, Roz? Tell us what you've got going on.
Well, I'm pretty excited because my VIP, I actually haven't told you all of this, Laura, but my VIP group coaching program, which is sort of like a mastermind style, what do you call it? Container, is about to have a bit of a shake-up. So it's also going to have a rebrand, and I haven't decided. So if you're listening, do drop me a message, because I can't decide on the name. I'm thinking like momentum mastermind or velocity mastermind or something, because this next round is really exciting. It's going to be for 5 months only. It's going to start at the start of July, and it's going to be based on action taking and getting SH $T done.
We know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I'm really, really thrilled about this one. So it's all about co-working. It's all about group coaching. You get also all the training resources inside VIP as well. What else? We're going to kick off with a big planning session as well to plan the next 5 months so that you can end the year strong. Yada, yada. I'm really excited about this one, but there's only limited spots. So if you are interested, head to my website, pop your name on the wait list, or click the link in the show notes, or send me a message via ESP. That also works. I don't know what it's called.
Definitely check it out. With the information will be in the show notes.
Is it VIP? What are we calling it, Laura?
I liked Momentum Mastermind, VIP. Yeah, that sounded good.
Momentum Mastermind.
Yeah, or just ask ChatGPT.
Mama. Love it.
Do we have a review?
No, we don't have a review.
Come on, people. Or are we just not organized?
It's not our
We're just not organized.
No, it's not even that, Laura. I cannot know. I can't access them. I don't know what's happened.
All right. Well, we need to do some investigating on the back end. But
we did have. Oh, hang on. We had kind words from my mate Sammy Sparrow on our new podcast intro.
Awesome.
Has anyone else noticed that? If you've noticed our intro, send us a message. Let us know. Do you approve? Do you think it's terrible? Should we go back to the last one? Have I got the crazies? Yes. All right. Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.
See you soon. Bye-bye.